As a little recap, crew's still working fine. Thought I'd show you the tools I used. Like my torch there, flat blade screwdriver. Over to here. This is how it should go back in after you put the two screws in that one assembly. Screw locations. Back to here, kind of made this little map. Don't forget the two screws that go in the side. There's two additional screws for the airbag. Put a note there by that one. It's a real SOB on each side to get out. Got to go up through the hole, same hole that you use to get the airbag out, but you have to go, sort of sideways into the steering column. You go straight up from the back. Tough to get to. But once the airbag's kind of out of the way, you can feel it. Here's the parts. Original Kia parts, shipped straight from Korea. Bought them from this guy here. $89, free shipping. Smart card _ there, KR on eBay. They actually have the hologram on the side. It's no counterfeit. Alright. Hello. Super Dave here, putting in a cruise control on my 2015 Kia Rio. It's a 6-speed. Hopefully the cruise will work. Ordered the stuff off eBay. I'll put that link here if I post the video. But I just unhooked the positive first, then the negative on the battery. Then I put a screwdriver in back behind here, and it fit fine inside that Torx, and just took the screw out right here where I'm pointing. I loosened those screws, one on the left and there's one on the right, and then I just laid the airbag forward without unplugging it, and I'll try to take the buttons off now on each side and we'll go from there. Alright, got about 1 minute into it. Just wanted to point out that if you look at your new part here, these screws right there that are holding, this is the new one, I haven't got the old one out yet, but they're a little tricky to get to because I didn't pull the steering wheel, because I don't have a steering wheel puller. So anyway, there's two screws here and here, pretty easy to get, but I had to turn to this location on the steering wheel. If you look, I'm like this, and here's your tilt part for the tilt your wheel. But anyway, I put a screwdriver right up in there and was able to get the last two screws out. There's 4 screws in this piece that you have to get out, plus the airbag ones. I already pulled it out, but it's kind of loose. I kind of move it around in and out to turn the wheel. Anyway, just wanted to point that out. So as you can see, I've got it out now, but I undid these 2 clips. They just push in right here, push them down. Also, if you look here, there's 2 screws here. One, the top one's real easy to get out. It's got a hole for it. I don't know if you can see my finger there behind it. But the other one, the other hole that you use to go straight in here to get your Torx out for your airbag control, you have to turn back to that same location earlier, and you go straight up through there to get that other little screw out, because the little buttons, have, let me get one of the new ones to kind of point out what I'm talking about. The buttons have 2 screws, and they go in like this. See, I mean, that fits in there, and then the screws come in from the back. Top one real easy to get to. The other one, once I had the airbag out of the way, I could get my finger back in there and feel it. And I was like, well, how do you get to that damn thing? And I used that same little skinny screwdriver, came up through that same hole that you'd go through to undo the Torx for the airbag. And I was able to guide it with my finger onto it. I rotated it around to that previous location. I showed you that little notch where this tilt is. And I was barely able to get that screw out. How it's going to get back in, I have no idea. But as you'll see, the whole assembly comes off in one piece. And if I can figure out where it went. Anyway, to recap, I've taken out 2 screws out of the back of that deal. 2 screws here. Top one real easy to get this. The bottom one real pain in the neck. Goes through the same hole you'd run the screwdriver through to get the Torx out. So you go straight in. You can barely get to it. I guide it with my finger. But anyway, this assembly then, the old one, comes out all in one piece, okay? There's a total of 4 screws in this silver part, if you want to call it that, this lower piece. And then there's 2 screws in each button. So there's 2, 4, 6, 8 screws, and it all comes out together. And then there's a little screw, looks like right there where I got my thumb. And then you assemble your new piece all together as one piece. And then it slides in, okay? But in the meantime, I got to figure out how to do the wiring harness. But anyway, I got the old one out. All right. Still got the airbag plugged in, positive and negative on the battery disconnected. Turned the lights on with the key on to make sure there was no capacitor charge. Don't know if that worked, but it's what my brother told me to do. Anyway, I'll see about the harness. Well, I unplugged the harness here, undid the ground, decided to leave the airbag plugged in, don't want to jack with it. The one that's over on this side, I was able to just kind of snake it out from behind there. This back piece will move in and out, this back cover plate, and I was able to get it out. Now I'll work on the other side. I was able to snake the harness in here. I believe that's how it has to go. It's pretty idiot proof. It's plugged in here. I got it plugged back in there. I went ahead and took this piece before I assembled. This is part of the new one. Before I decided to go with this harness location. It looks to me like it's correct. Keep in mind, you know, you've got these screws here that are for your airbag. I noticed one of the other videos on YouTube, the screw fell out, and it turned out to be problematic for him. So make sure this back cover piece is back in place. Now I'm going to assemble this whole thing. You know, I'm going to get it all together like this is the old one. I'm going to put the new one all together just like this before I go back in. So I got my harness in. I think I'm good to go on this here. All right, bye. I just wanted to point out that the new volume button, this is part of the new assembly, it does have the 2 little up and down arrows. Although it looks very similar to the old one, it is different. So of course going to put all the new parts on, but all right, on to the other side. Point out that this part of the harness won't plug into the new Bluetooth stereo thing if you got that, and the harness on the other side, it won't go. I've got to reroute this cable here, this one. I've got to reroute it back up underneath here, kind of back up underneath here. I found out there's a channel there, so I'm going to redo that and then put it all back together. I should be good to go. Bye. As you can see now, I can got plenty of room to plug this in and then place it down in place, you know. So I'm going to reroute the other one. Looks like a little bit of pain in the neck. Would have been a lot easier to pull the steering wheel, but I don't have a steering wheel puller, so it can be done like this. Didn't want to worry about messing up the clock spring or getting the steering wheel clicked wrong in there or something. So I figured the less parts I took apart, the better. All right. I put the 2 screws behind here back in. Stubby Phillips works pretty good. And I put the top screw in up here, behind here. It's got its own channel for it. Behind the steering wheel. Stubby works great. And stubby here for this one, I put it in. Now the other one, this back down in here, it comes in from the back side too. I've got to rotate the steering wheel around to get in that slot over here so I can put that little skinny machine screwdriver up in there, a little miniature one, to get that one started. But you know, once I get that bolted in there, I'm not going to worry about the bottom screw in this one and this one. This directly behind here, you have to go up through the same hole as the airbag hole, you know, that you put the screw here in. The screwdriver goes in sideways. It goes in you know, through there. to get these screws here, but you go in straight to get this bottom screw. It's almost a nightmare. It's a little difficult to get to unless you pull the steering wheel. So it's not going, neither one of them are going back in. But anyway, I'm going to put those other 2 screws in here. I'm going to rotate the steering wheel around, put the airbag, kind of set it back in place a little bit, rotate around, get them 2 in, then probably going to bolt the airbag in and go for it. Going back together with these screws that are in this back piece, you can see there's the, open that latch that does your tilt. Sorry about the video stopping there, my battery ran out, but as you can see, I'm driving down the highway here. I didn't know if it'd work with the stick shift or not, but with the cruise, but here it, you know, it comes on. I'm gonna check cancel. There, I should cancel, it shut off, and I shut cruise off. You see the light in the dash go off. So all I did was for 97 bucks there. It's supposed to take 4 to 6 weeks to ship from Korea. You know, I got here in 10 days or something. I freaking couldn't believe it. It was less than 2 weeks. But anyway, I'll go ahead and set it again at 60 mile an hour here. There's set. So the car's all set up for it. All you got to do is have the buttons, a harness, a couple hours of time. I didn't pull the steering wheel. Would have been easier, but I'm amazed it works. The guy didn't answer my emails whether it'd work with the stick shifter or not. I just figured cruise only worked with automatics. What do I know? But anyway, it's working fine. Obviously, the car's all set up for it, and I don't know. Well, we're pretty cool with it. Difficulty 1 to 9, 1 to 10. You know, it's an 8 with the way I did it, but I say go for it. You know, if you don't know how, if you can't do brakes yourself, disc and drums, and you know, can't change an alternator, I don't think you should try it. You got to be pretty mechanically inclined and have some patience. But hopefully my video helped out a little bit. The other 2 screws I left out, you know, the second one back here, here and here. I mean, I've got a screw behind here and here. Hell, you know, I think it's just fine. I mean, it's got another screw back in there. If you pull the steering wheel, you can probably do that, but I'm not going to worry about it. All right, bye. Okay, now we're driving into the sun, but I'm just going to go ahead and maybe that'll help. I'm going to go ahead and try the resume button and see if that works. Yeah, it took right off. It's driving up by itself now, and that's just cool. I don't know how the rest of cruise works. I'm just going to hit a plus button. The only reason why I added to the video is I wanted to show you this car does not have power windows. It does not have power locks. You know, it's the stripped down model, and it is all set up for cruise. And you know, the harness works great. I didn't have to put a new clock spring in. I gave the guy my VIN number. Seems to know what he's talking about. He ran my VIN number and said I didn't need to do a new clock spring, because I probably wouldn't have done it if that was the case. But anyway, a couple buttons, a harness. I got cruise now. I'm a real happy damn camper. Bye.